What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Early Edge, powered by the almighty SportsLine. I'm your host, Alan Bell. We got a fantastic show lined up for you this Monday morning. Coach is still on assignment, but you know what? He will be back Tuesday. But until then, substitute teachers rules are in effect. So let's go ahead, wheel in those picks from Sunday, and look how we did. Yeah, total of 27-19 overall. We see some greens. We see some reds here. Flip to the next one because we have some props to give out. Sia Najad and Uncle Dave just crushing it, going perfect there. I believe that the Friday prop show ended up 13-2 overall. So my goodness, man, make sure to pay attention and tune in Friday to that prop show. Let's take a look at the schedule that we have for today. And obviously, you know, Early Edge in 5 coming at 4 p.m. Eastern. But tonight, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, the Monday Night Football kickoff live stream between the Saints and the Bucks. We're going to be fired up for that one. Also, make sure, turn on your notifications on YouTube. And if you listen via podcast, it would mean the world to us if you would leave a review. It could be good. It could be bad. However you feel. We're not telling you how to write in your opinions on us, but a review would go a long way for us on that. We would greatly appreciate that. But enough about me yapping. Let's bring in the stars of the show. Let's break this thing down. You know what? We have a monster show because look who we have. First off, my man Buckets, freshly picking out some new cologne for him. Buckets, how we doing, sir?
Hey, good morning, AB. Good morning, Larry. It's always great when I get to be on the shows with the OGs themselves. We have more World Cup action today. However, remember that soccer is year-round and all over the world. If you follow me on Twitter, we cashed a ticket in the Chinese Super League at 2 a.m. this morning. So I'm going to keep that momentum going here.
Hey, you know what? Always nailing those Chinese Super League picks. I love it. And Maestro, first off, looking sharp this morning. Second, dude, your video from the stadium yesterday, fantastic job. Props did bring up a point. Of course, it was you that got yelled at and got in trouble. I'm just kidding, man. You look great, buddy. How we doing?
Yeah, I was getting a little too excited. I was trying to explain the game. I took someone who had never been to an NFL game, didn't even know the rules of NFL from another country. So I was trying to explain the game, but I guess I was getting too animated for the people sitting next to me. Then we found our spot and we were able to focus. But I got to say, the Steelers Nation travels like it was crazy. It was in Atlanta and it was at least 60% Steelers fans, maybe more. They hung around after the game. They were singing on the train. They were just loyal to the core. And they've got a young quarterback who has now played 4 straight games without committing a turnover. And I mean, but some massive news in the NFL when you talk about Lamar going down, Tua getting hurt, Jimmy G out for the year. So some devastating QB news yesterday.
Yeah, unbelievable news. Just unbelievable quarterback news. And you're right, dude. The Steeler Nation travels. First off, they're everywhere, and they travel everywhere. Like, they show up, dude. It's impressive, man, for sure. All right, let's get into the storylines that affect the betting lines for today. And Maestro, I'm going to come right back at you, man. We got the Saints and the Bucks tonight, and there are some serious primetime and Monday Night Football trends between both quarterbacks that we need to know about. Break it down.
And there's also some serious line moves going on right now as we speak. That line has dropped all the way to 3. I mean, open 5.5 or 6, immediate buying on the Saints, too big a number, but it settled at 3.5. It was at 3.5 for several days, but now we're seeing 3s at most places. And, you know, the Saints are coming off a shutout. And according to Clev TA, a guy that I really respect, teams that have been shut out 26-11 against the spread the next week. But how can you have confidence in a team led by Andy Dalton that's averaged 12.5 points over the last 4 games? For some reason, they won't make the move back to Jameis Winston. And on the other side, Tom Brady 2-14 in his last 16 primetime games. He has a coach, Todd Bowles, with the 7-point lead in the fourth quarter. 4th and 2 on the Browns 37. He decides to punt. A coach who was afraid he was going to throw an interception and instead of trying to go for the win. So both teams have tremendous problems offensively. I think we're going to see a grinder. The key injuries, though, the Bucks will not have their best offensive lineman, Tristan Wirfs. That is huge, the all-pro right tackle. And the Saints, we are still waiting to see about Marshawn Lattimore. He's been out with an abdomen injury for multiple weeks, but we know that he and Mike Evans do not get along. He has shut down Mike Evans in the past. We'll see if he's active tonight. He's questionable.
Yep. So, and I'll say this, the interesting part is that, Todd Bowles saying that he was, concerned Tom Brady might throw an interception. In the fourth quarter, Tom Brady hasn't thrown an interception in the fourth quarter since like 6 AD, right? He never does that. If there's one quarterback you could trust, it's Tom Brady in that situation. But you're right, man. Big one. Big storylines on tonight's game. All right, Buckets, now coming over to you. In regards to the World Cup, all right, what trends are you seeing and where do we sit as of right now moving forward?
Let's talk about the difference between the group stage and the knockout stage with trends, because all throughout the group stage, I had people messaging me saying, Buckets, this sucks. Where are the goals? We saw a streak where 16 out of 19 games were 0-0 at halftime. We saw 5 times as many games end 0-0 in the group stage alone as we did the entirety of the 2018 World Cup. Teams were so focused on not losing that they did not care if they scored at all. However, now with the knockout stage, we are seeing the trend move in our favor as someone who loves betting on goals. Teams can no longer sit back and play for that 0-0 draw. There's no goal differential, so it's not about minusing the damage at all. It's about going out and playing, because if you do not score, then you go home. In our 4 knockout games we've had so far, over 2.5 goals has hit in all 4 of these games. There has been at least 1 goal in the first half in all 4 of these games, and both teams to score has hit in 3 of these 4 games. A complete 180 from what we saw in the group stage, and this is something we want to keep an eye on because this trend is most likely to continue because it is goals or nothing at this point.
Dude, that's a new hashtag right there, dude. Goals or nothing.
Goals or nothing.
I love it, man. I love it. All right, let's get into our best bets for today, but before we do, let's take a quick break and hear from one of our partners. And we are back. All right, Buckets, I tell you what, man, coming right back to you. Got one play. Hit us with it. What do you got?
Let's do it. Let's keep going with that knockout stage trend here. I'm looking at the 2 p.m. matchup between Brazil and South Korea. We're going over 2.5 goals at minus 130 here. This is great value, but it's because the books are a little scared of Brazil. Brazil is a team that won their first game 5-1 and then won 1-0 and then lost 1-0 in the next 2. This is a team that can cover that spread by themselves, no problem. But the question is, which side of this Brazil team do we see show up? I see a very aggressive Brazil showing up because this is a team that almost never loses coming off a very embarrassing loss. They are going to be hungry, and they want to remind everyone why they are the tournament favorites. They could cover this by themselves, but I would not be surprised if they got a little bit of help from South Korea in the process. South Korea is one of those underdog teams that really has nothing to lose. They're going to go out there, they're going to play aggressive, and they're going to fight tooth and nail for 90 minutes. I think this game could be very close, but I also see a lot of goals in this one. So at minus 130, I'm taking the over every single time.
Every single time, baby. Let's go. I love it. I love it. All right. In the chat, really quick, our man, Jason says, I always fade Dalton in primetime. You know what? Yeah, Maestro, what up?
Yeah, 9-17-2 in primetime is his record. He has been protecting the ball, but nothing much explosive. And like I said, 12.5 points over the last 4 games.
Yeah. I mean, he's one of the worst quarterbacks in primetime history, legitimately, right? And I say all that to say this. I've got 2 plays tonight, and the first one is Andy Dalton throwing a pick. Andy Dalton over half an interception, getting minus 145. That number is going to skyrocket throughout the day. I'm fading the hell out of him. I believe that Tampa is going to get at least 1 from him. It'll probably look like Matt Ryan did last night in regards to that. So we're going to play Andy Dalton over half an interception. Also, in regards to Marshawn Lattimore, I think that he's probably not going to play tonight. And even if he does, he's not going to be at 100%. So give me Mike Evans, longest reception over 22.5 yards. Obviously, there is concern with the Bucs offensive line and Wirfs being out. That being said, you know what? Dude, Evans is going to get 1 at least over 22.5 because Brady knows they're going to have to push the ball down the field. Running the football is only going to get them so far. So take both of those. Now, Maestro, before we get to you, because you're always in your spot, king of the throne here. Man, you know Coach is coming through with a pick for today. Coach, what do you got?
You want me to hold it for you? What's good, everybody? It's your boy, the Coach, and I got to tell you, just because I'm not hosting the show today, just because AB is trying to fill my shoes, I'm out here at gorgeous Trump International Golf Club, one of the nicest facilities you will ever see in your life. But how do we pay for all this? We need to cash some tickets. So tonight, we're going Phoenix Suns plus the 3 on the road minus 110. Now, the Suns right now are starting to play a lot better. I don't think the Mavs are as good as people think they are. You give me the 3, make sure you check on those starting lineups, make sure all the participants are playing. So we know lately we've been getting hosed just a little bit. So, after a spectacular day at the Brand on Sunday when all of my cappers nearly went perfect, this is the end of our week. So stay focused, stay in it, and don't be too hard on AB. We know he's not me. Back to you, sir.
That was outstanding. Well done. I also love the music playing over people getting ready to play the golf tournament. It's fantastic, man. Coach is the man. All right, Maestro, spot is yours. You know it. You know what? I'm just getting right out of your way, my man. What do you got?
Okay, I'm going to look at Chris Godwin. This guy has been blowing up in terms of his targets, double-digit targets in 5 of the last 6 games. Last week, 12 catches on 13 targets. This is the guy that Brady relies on the most, especially when he doesn't have a lot of time. And with Tristan Wirfs being out, he's not going to have a lot of time. This is the guy who runs in the slot, and you know who he's up against most of the time? Chris Harris. This guy was an excellent corner, but right now he's 33 years old, and he's not nearly what he once was. So I'm going to look at Chris Godwin over 6.5 catches. It sounds like a lot, but look at his numbers lately. He has had 6 or more basically every game, and he's just coming off a 12-catch performance. This is coming back at minus 139 on Caesars. I also like his yards over 67.5, but I'm going to stick to receptions just because the volume should be there against Chris Harris, who is not quite washed up, but he's getting there.
Yeah, you know what, Maestro? I 100% agree. The volume is going to be there. Like, I think that they're going to have to put the ball up in the air multiple times tonight. So, yeah, I love that play. Buckets, quick question for you in the chat. Our man Drew asked, Buckets, do you like Brazil team total over 1.5 at plus 150?
If you can get Brazil team total at plus 1 or over 1.5 at plus 150, you absolutely need to take that. And I'd make sure you're looking at the right thing, because when I looked at that this morning, I was seeing closer to minus 250, minus 300 on that line. So if you get that, take it, but just make sure you're looking at the right guy there.
Nice. All right. Well done. All right, everybody, grab your paper, grab your pencil. Let's take a the recap here. It does look glorious, courtesy of our man, Jake the Snake. Maestro is on Chris Godwin over 6.5 receptions. Buckets is on Brazil, South Korea over 2.5 goals. I am on Andy Dalton over half an interception. Mike Evans, longest reception over 22.5 yards. And the coach is on the Suns plus 3. All right, everybody, make sure to tune in today, 4 p.m. Eastern, for the early edge in 5, as well as 7:30 p.m. Eastern tonight for the Monday Night Football live kickoff show between the Saints and the Bucks. But until then, everybody, best of luck. Let's cash these tickets. We'll see you later today. Thanks.